After energy stored in capacitor, the next one is grouping of capacitor. Grouping of capacitors means how the capacitors are connected to each other. For that, first one we are talking the series grouping. In series grouping, the capacitors are connected one by one. First capacitor, second capacitor, third capacitor, and so on according to our requirement. And the second plate of the last capacitor is connected to earth. Suppose to this combination Q charge is given, so this Q charge is distributed uniformly on the first plate, and due to the induction, opposite charge develop on the inner surface of the second plate of the first capacitor, and the same charge develop on the outer surface goes to the first plate of the next capacitor, and so on. The same charge develop on the outer surface of the last capacitor goes to earth. Now for finding the formula for the capacity, since we know C is equal to Q by V, therefore V is equal to Q by C. We suppose the capacities of the three capacitors are C1, C2 and C3, and potential between the plates of these capacitors is V1, V2 and V3 respectively. So therefore V1 will be equal to Q by C1, V2 will be equal to Q by C2 and V3 will be equal to Q by C3. So total potential V will be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Therefore V will be equal to Q by C1 plus Q by C2 plus Q by C3. Now Q is taken common, so V will be equal to Q 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. Now we will suppose the equivalent capacity of all the capacitors is equal to C, and therefore V is equal to Q by C. So from 1 and 2, this RHS are equal, so Q by C is equal to Q 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. This Q and Q cancel, so the required formula is 1 by C is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. That means if the capacitors are connected in series, their equivalent capacitor, the reciprocal of their equivalent capacitance will be equal to the sum of the reciprocal of their individual capacitance. Yesterday we did the series grouping of the capacitor, and now today we are doing the parallel grouping of the capacitor. For that, the capacitors are connected in parallel to each other. This is the first capacitor whose capacity is C1, this is the second one whose capacity is C2, and this is the third capacitor whose capacity is C3. According to our requirement, we can connect more than 3 capacitors. Let the charge given to them is Q, that will be divided into 3 parts. This is to the first capacitor is Q1, Q2 is to the second capacitor, Q3 is to the third capacitor. Now this charge is spread on the first plate of the first capacitor, and opposite charge develop on the inner surface of the second plate of the first capacitor. Same charge due to the induction comes on the second plate, outer surface of the second plate of the capacitor, that goes to earth. Similarly, the charge will be spreading on the second capacitor and the third capacitor, and on their outer surface the charge that is developed due to the induction goes to the earth. As we know, C is equal to Q by V, therefore Q is equal to CV. Now the charges Q1 will be equal to C1V, Q2 will be equal to C2V, and Q3 will be equal to C3V. Therefore the total charge Q will be equal to C1V plus C2V plus C3V, and V is taken common, so Q will be equal to V C1 plus C2 plus C3. But Q is equal to CV, and we will suppose the equivalent capacity of the capacitors is equal to C, therefore Q is equal to CV. From 1 and 2, their LHS are equal, so RHS must be equal, so CV will be equal to V C1 plus C2 plus C3. This V and V cancel, so C will be equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. That means if the capacitors are connected to parallel to each other, then the equivalent capacity of these capacitors will be equal to the sum of their individual capacities. Today we are talking about the dielectrics and their polarization. Actually, dielectric is a substance which does not allow the flow of charges through it but permits them to exert electrostatic forces on one another through it. A dielectric is essentially an insulator. Example: glass, wax, water are the dielectrics. There are two types of the dielectric. Number one is the polar dielectric. A molecule in which the center of mass of positive charges does not coincide with the center of mass of negative charges is called a polar dielectric. The examples are HCl and H2O. The second one is non-polar dielectric, a molecule in which the center of mass of positive charges coincides with the center of mass of negative charges is called a non-polar dielectric. For example, H2 and CO2. Polarization of dielectric. Both polar and non-polar, as I told you yesterday, polar and non-polar dielectric. So both polar and non-polar dielectrics develop a neat dipole moment in the presence of an external electric field. This phenomenon is called polarization of dielectric. Then after that, the another term is polarization density. The induced dipole moment developed per unit volume of a dielectric which placed in an external electric field is called polarization density. Then another term is electrical susceptibility. The ratio of polarization to epsilon 0 times the electric field is called the electrical susceptibility of the dielectric. Then after that, the electrostatic of conductor. There are 5 different cases. The first one is neat electrostatic field is 0 in the interior of a conductor. The second one is just outside the surface of a charged conductor, electric field is normal to the surface. The third one is the neat charge in the interior of a conductor is 0 and any excess charge resides at its surface. The fourth point is potential is constant within and on the surface of a conductor. And the last one, fifth one, electric field at the surface of a charged conductor is proportional to the surface charge density. Today, the last topic of the second chapter, that is potential energy of charges in an external electric field. The first case, potential energy of a single charge in an external field. For that we will consider, we have now to determine potential energy of a charge in an external field E, which is not produced by the given charge, whose potential energy we have to calculate. Suppose if VR is potential in external potential at any point P whose of position vector R, then work done in bringing a unit positive charge from infinity to the point P is equal to V. Since work is equal to potential into charge, so work will be equal to Q into VR, and therefore work and potential energy are equal. So potential energy will be equal to Q into VR. This is the potential energy due to a single charge. Now similarly we have to find the potential energy of a system of two charges in an external field. For that we will suppose Q1, Q2 are two charges at position vectors R1 and R2 respectively. Work done in bringing charge Q1 from infinity to position R1 vector is W1 is equal to Q1 into V R1, just like the previous case. Similarly, the work done in bringing charge Q2 from infinity to position R2 is W2 is equal to Q2 into VR2. This is equation number second. This is equation number first. While bringing Q2 from infinity to position R2, work has to be done against the field due to Q1. Therefore, W3 will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q1 upon R12 into Q2. This is the third equation. So therefore, the total work done W will be equal to W1 plus W2 plus W3. So from equation 1, 2 and 3, W will be equal to Q1 VR1 plus Q2 VR2 plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q1 Q2 upon R12. And work and potential energy are equal. Therefore, potential energy is equal to Q VR1 plus Q VR2 plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q1 Q2 upon R12.